My name is Billy Rango, and this is my autoethnography. I was born on October 25th, 1979, in the small town of Hayward. I had two loving parents, one older sister, and three older half-siblings. I was aware that my half-siblings had a different father, but they were still full flesh and blood in my mind. I grew up shouldering a great deal of responsibility from a young age. My mom worked nights as a CNA, and my dad took care of my sister and me. My mom always took time to make family sit-down meals when she was home, but once in a while, when she worked the evening shift, my dad would take us to the local holiday to get a hot dog for dinner. What makes this kind of comical is that I was a vegetarian from an early age. I grew up going to church with my mom, grandma, and sister. I was baptized into the Seventh-day Adventist Church in 4th grade. Seventh-day Adventist beliefs are Bible-based, but different from mainstream beliefs at times. Our church membership was very small, and there were only a few young people in attendance for many years. I felt isolated at times and grew to feel like I didn't have a place. I withdrew and focused on my schoolwork, interests, and hobbies. I was sheltered growing up. I lived in a small town with a population of approximately 2,100. The diversity I experienced related to socioeconomic status and ethnicity. We lived near a Native American reservation, and there was a large percentage of Native Americans in my school. Some of my best friends were Native, and so I didn't have a problem with interacting with people of other ethnicities. My sister Sarah was diagnosed with a bipolar disorder when I was in high school. Our family dynamics were very strained growing up. Even though we were closer in age than any of my other siblings, we had difficulty getting along. Focusing on school was the one thing I could control. I made the honor roll each quarter, and I was chosen Student of the Month each year. It would be safe to say that I was a perfectionist. I vividly remember a day from my senior year when I learned that I had dropped from number 9 to 11 in the senior class rankings. I was devastated and went home in tears. My concept of self-worth rested in my academic success. After graduating high school, I attended UW Superior for elementary education, where I eventually became a McNair Scholar, which was a scholarship program that was designed to prepare either minority or first-generation college students with financial need for graduate school. I was accepted based on my family's income and the fact that I was the first to go to college in my family. I then applied for and accepted an internship in Wausau, Wisconsin for my student teaching experience. I moved to a city with a metro area population of about 126,000 and found that I was ill-prepared to navigate a big city. My map reading skills were seriously deficient, and I found myself lost a lot. I graduated in December of 2002 on a Friday and started a job as a first grade reading resource teacher on the following Monday, about 1 hour from my hometown. I was glad to be back in the area, but I didn't branch out and try new things. The job was temporary, and I immediately enrolled and began attending graduate classes at Andrews University in Michigan to work towards my special education master's degree. In the meantime, I found a permanent teaching position in Grantsburg. I received a job offer for a 4th grade position. After joining the middle school staff, I quickly found that I was a newbie amongst a seasoned staff, and my advocating for students with special needs isolated me. Despite not fitting in with the staff, I went above and beyond to be there for the students and support them as they did extra activities out of school. The following year, I was invited to join the elementary staff and found that I had a place. I married my husband Ben on April 9th, 2006. We now have 4 energetic, well-rounded, and intelligent kids. I'm involved in my children's activities, whether it is making sure they complete homework and nightly reading, or going to their 4-H meetings and helping out in any way possible. I try to be present with my kids since I had to take so much responsibility for my own learning growing up. I am a learner, and I believed in sharing and found myself in the position of an instructional coach in 2013. I worked hard in the position, which began as a temporary 1-year extra stipend, turned into a role that I continue to perform today. My school district prides itself at being at the forefront of technology, and I found myself leading an action research project in which we examined the effect iPads had on time on task. I was a lead presenter at the SLATE convention in the Wisconsin Dells, and the following year we had a one-to-one initiative. I've since presented twice at the TIES Technology Convention in Minneapolis, Minnesota. While I felt isolated growing up, I had now found my place in the academic community. I started my own blog and enjoyed sharing my ideas as much as I loved learning new things from others. After I got my job in Grantsburg, I put my master's degree on hold, and I finally went back to school and completed my Reading 316 coursework in December of 2017. For most of my career, much of my knowledge had been self-taught and the result of reading many books and attending workshops and conferences. I finally went on and gained official learning. I didn't understand growth mindset and fixed mindset growing up, and I thought that my self-worth rested in my accomplishments. When something was challenging or hard, I thought I wasn't smart. I now explicitly teach my students learner qualities and help them identify if they are operating under a fixed mindset mentality. I teach students to stretch themselves because their potential is unknowable. I didn't always feel included growing up, and so I make it a priority to make connections with my students and help them feel included. Relationships are a top priority to students' success and emotional health. I believe in meeting kids where they are at. If a student shows they already know something, then I move on to the next level, even if it requires me to step outside of my comfort zone and learn something new. I believe that an education is the biggest gift we can give our nation's children. I'm cognizant of family needs and do not assign homework aside from nightly reading because the reality is many of my students do not have the support at home to complete it correctly. Since John Hattie's research has not shown a positive effect on homework in the lower grades, I've been able to let this go.